right, boys and girls, we are on the refined lesson for subtracting fractions. You should have your workbook and a pencil, page 265. Pause the video as you need, like always. We are looking at this so that we know what to do when we take our quiz today. How do we subtract fractions? We've been working on that for a week, and we should be getting pretty good at it. Let's take a look at our example. It says the first chapter of Henry's book is 5 2/3 pages long. The second chapter is 8 2/5 pages long. How much longer is the second chapter than the first chapter? So what is the problem about? It is about Henry's book, right? And how long the pages of the chapters are. So what are we trying to find out? How much longer is the second chapter? Because you can see it's longer than the first chapter. All right? So this is showing how we could use our work using equations. So we have to come up with a common denominator, correct? So if we're looking at 5 and 3, we can have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Oh, I recognize 15 as a multiple of 5 because all 5s end in 0 or 5. So if I go 5, 10, 15, 15 is the first one they both have in common. So you can see that they took 2/3 and multiplied it by the 1, 5 over 5, to show that we have 5 and 10/15, because that's what we get when we multiply 2/3 times 5 over 5. And here we have 2/5 times 3 over 3, which is another 1, to get us to 15, and 2 times 3 is 6. Okay? So when we add these together, we get, what did they do? Oh, so we get 5 and 10/15 subtract 8 and 6/15. So when we do this, we have an issue because we have 8 and 6/15, and we're subtracting 5 and 10/15. That's a problem because we have 6 here. We can't take 10 away from that. So we're showing us here that they're borrowing a set of 1. Remember, all of our 1s can be whatever the denominator is over itself, numerator over denominator, same number, that is equal to 1. So instead of 8 here, they took 1 away from that, and now we have 7. And the 1, they turned it into 15ths so that we could add it to our 6/15. So we no longer have 8 here, we have 7 1s, and we no longer have 6 here, we have 15 plus 6, which is 21. So that shows us what we have here. And then when we subtract 21 minus 10 is 11, 15 just stays 15, and then our 7 whole numbers minus our 5 is 2. So let's take a look at the next one. We have 5 and 4/5 subtract 1 and 9/10. And again, I really like to have these vertically versus horizontally. Subtract 1 and 9/10. Now, in this situation, we have a 5 and a 10. So I'm pretty sure that our denominator is going to be 10 because I know 5 times 2 is 10 and 10 times 1 is 10. So 10 is our denominator. We multiply this by 2 over 2 because that's our 1 that we multiply by. So we're not changing, again, how big this is. We're just changing how many pieces it's cut into. 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 8/10 minus 9/10. Uh-oh, we can't do that, right? So we're going to borrow a set of 1 from the 5. So we have 4 left over. And instead of 8/10, we're going to add that 1 back in. Remember, if we're doing it in tenths, 10 over 10 is equal to 1. So we're going to add 10/10 to our 8/10, which gives us 18/10. We still have 9/10 over here. That didn't change. And we still have a 4 here, and we have a 1 here. So now we can do our subtraction. 18 subtract 9 is 9/10. 4 subtract 1 is 3. So 3 and 9/10. So pause that and relook at that, because this part here where we're having to add an extra 1 in there because we can't subtract a small number by a bigger number. Make sure you understand why we're borrowing a set of 1 from our whole number here and putting that 1 right here and adding it to our original fraction. All right. Number 2 says, what number do you add to 3/4 to get to 5/6? So one way we can do that is say, well, we have 5/6, that's what we're trying to get to. We can subtract 3/4 from that and figure out what number we would have to have added to the 3/4 to get to the 5/6. All right, what's our common denominator? If we go 6, 12, oh hey, look at 4. 4, 8, 12. Our common denominator is 12. Yay! Not too big of a number to worry about. And what did I do to 4 to get to 12? I multiplied it by 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to multiply 3 over 3 because that's my 1. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? And then this would be multiplied by 2 because 6 times 2 is 12. 1, 2. 5 times 2 is 10. And we can't subtract this because we don't have a number here that's larger than a number here. So 10 subtract 9 is 1/12. All right. Number 3. Again, pause as we go, because if I go a little too fast, you need to pause it and write it down and catch up with me and understand the steps. It says Carrot 1 over 3 here. Carrot's bathroom floor has an area of 3 2/3 square yards. She lays down a rug that has an area of 1 1/4 square yards. What area of her floor is not covered by the rug? So it's just saying that her bathroom floor is this big, right? And her rug is maybe this big. So how much of this is not covered by a rug? So we're taking that 3 2/3 and we're subtracting 1 1/4. So we have 3 and we have a 4. And guess what? 12 is going to be our denominator because we know that both 3 and 4 go into 12. Okay, so 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. And then 4 times 3 is 12. And 1 times 3 is 3. So we're going to subtract. 8 subtract 3. 5/12. 3 subtract 1, 2. And notice I didn't really even look over here. I just did the problem. So I got 2 and 5/12. So I'm going to be pretty confident that that's my answer. And it says Jordan chose D as the correct answer. How did he get that answer? Look what he did here. He has a 7 here. And he has a 3 here. He just added, actually, the numerators, and he added the denominators. That is not how we deal with fractions, is it, boys and girls? No way. Number 4. What is the value of the expression 3/5 minus 1/3? Again, I like to put it in vertical. And again, we're going to find our common denominator. 5, 10, 15. I kind of already know that that's my common denominator because I know that 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 over 3. So we have 9/15. This is my 1 to get a common denominator. And for 3, I'm going to have to multiply it by 5 because 5 times 3 is 15. And 1 times 5 is 5. So if I subtract that, I get 4/15. Now I'm looking at my answer choices. Is that choice there? Yay! All right. Mackenzie's footprint is 7/12 foot long. Her dad's footprint is 1 1/6 feet long. Can the equation be used to find how much longer Mackenzie's dad's footprint is than Mackenzie's? Yes or no? So we're going to start with 1 1/6. To get that into 12s, we'd have to say 1 2/12, right? Subtract 7/12, which is basically what we're going to do. So can we do 1 2/12 minus 7/12? Yeah, that is it. Can we say 7/12 plus 1 1/6? Can we add these to get the difference between these two? No. Can we go 1 1/6 minus 2/3? Where are they getting 2/3 from? 7/12 is not the same as 2/3, so I'm going to say no. Can we use 14/12 minus 7/12? Well, let's take a look at that. What is 1 equal to in 12s? 1 is equal to 12 12s plus 2 twelfths is 12 plus 2 is 14 twelfths. So we can say 14 twelfths minus 7 twelfths. Yes. And this would be like if we had, in here we would have had to have done this to subtract it anyway because we have 2 minus 7. So we would have had to borrow that set of 12 twelfths and we would have lost the 1 from there, wouldn't we? All right, the sum of 4 and 1/2 and what number is 12 and 5 sevenths? So 12 and 5 sevenths is our big number because when we say the sum, we say that 4 and 1/2 plus what number is equal, means equal to 12 and 5 sevenths. So to find it out, we're going to take our 12 and 5 sevenths and we're going to subtract 4 and 1/2. Okay, so what's our common denominator with 7 and 2? What's the first number they both go into? Well, 7, 14. It has to be an even number if it's a 2. So it's 14 because that's the first even number that 7 goes into. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. I'm going to multiply this one by 7. 2 over 2, 7 over 7. 5 times 2 is 10. 1 times 7 is 7. And if I subtract that, I get 10 subtract 7 is 3 14ths. My denominator stays the same. 12 minus 4 is 8. All right, number 7, getting there. Carter has an older sister and a younger brother. Carter's sister is 17 and 1/3 years old. Carter is 2.5 years younger than his sister. What is Carter's age? In years, show your work. So we know that Carter has an older sister and a younger brother. What is Carter's age in years? So Carter's sister is 17 and 1/3 years old. Carter is 2.5 years younger than his sister. So we're going to subtract 2.5. Okay? So with 3 and 2, we know that our common denominator is going to be 6. And to get there, we have to go 2 over 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. And we have to do 3 because 2 times 3 is 6, so 3. This is one of those times where we have 2 6 minus 3 6. Can we take 2 and take away 3? No. So we're going to have to borrow a set of 1 whole from the 17. So we don't have 17 anymore. We have 16. And we're going to take that 1 whole. Remember, 6 over 6 would be our, with the common denominator, that's our 1. 6 over 6 is equal to 1. So this 1 that we took from here, we're making it 6 over 6, and we're going to add it to our 2 6 that we have here. We're just swapping them out. So instead of 2 6 plus 6 6, we now have 8 6. Subtract 3 6. And over here we still have our 16. We don't want to forget about those numbers. Sometimes when we leave them all the way over here, we forget to do the subtraction for those numbers as well. All right, so 8 subtract 3 is 5, 6, and 16 subtract 2 is 14, and 5 6 is Carter's age. It says Carter's brother is 5 3/4 years younger than their sister. How much older is Carter than his brother? Show your work. Okay, so it says Carter's brother is 5 3/4 years younger than their sister. So again, their sister was 17 and 1/3. And Carter's brother, we're going to subtract that, and go 5 3/4 to find out Carter's brother's age. Then we can compare. So this is a 2-step problem. We're comparing first Carter's brother to Carter's sister. Then we can figure out, because we have Carter's age here, the difference between Carter and his brother. Okay? So with 3 and 4 here, we have to have 12 as a common denominator. 3 times 4, so 4 over 4. So we have 4 12ths. 4 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Oh, we have the situation again. We have 4 minus 9. We can't do that. We go and borrow a set of 1. So we have 16 left over. And our 1 that we're going to add this time is 12 twelfths will be our 1. 4 plus 12 here is equal to 16 twelfths minus 9 twelfths. And we don't want to forget our 16 over here and our 5. So if we subtract that out, 16 and subtract 9 is 7 twelfths. And we have 16 subtract 5 is 11. Okay? So how much older is Carter than his brother? So Carter is 14 and 5 sixths. Subtract 11 and 7 twelfths. Okay? So in this case, we're going to have to make this twelfths. So we have times 2 times 2. That would be 10 twelfths, right? So 10 subtract 7 is 3 twelfths. And 14 subtract 11 is 3. So 3 and 3 twelfths. Okay, we're going to stop with that. And hopefully that's enough information so that you can be successful on our math quiz. Remember, at 11 o'clock, I will be going over the B portion. So take care.